Hey, what's up, stock compounders? Brad here. So today I want to talk about my 9 favorite investing accounts to follow on Twitter. Okay, um, there's a lot of great accounts that I follow on Twitter, but in terms of the accounts I've gotten the most value out of on Twitter, these are the 9 accounts that I would recommend would be at the top of the list of accounts to follow. So let's dive right into who those people are. The first one needs no introduction, Mr. Money Monish Pabrai. Okay. He's one of 2 Twitter accounts that I have direct notifications enabled for. So when Pabrai sends a tweet, I get a notification on my phone. You can see some recent tweets from Monish. Nick Sleep, Letters to Investors, the True North Star for fund managers, or I should say True North. You can read Nick Sleep's letters here. I'm still working my way through those. I'll be posting about those soon. And then whenever Pabrai does a guest lecture at a university around the world, he'll post it on Twitter. There's been a number of times in the last couple months where I found out Charlie Munger was doing something online that I could actually be a part of in real time. So just a super valuable Twitter account to follow, Monish Pabrai. So generous with his wisdom and sharing lessons, both mistakes and what has worked for him over the last 25, 26 years of investing. So big shout out to Monish Pabrai. The second one, and these aren't in order, they're just 9 accounts that I have really been enjoying following on Twitter. Jeremy Raper. So Jeremy Raper runs Raper Capital. He came to my attention as I was doing research for Shinnikin. Okay, Shinnikin is the company that Pabrai found in Japan that he thinks is a spawner. I just did a video about it a couple days ago. But Jeremy Raper had some really thoughtful write-ups on Shinnikin. So that really got my attention. And he often tweets about new investment ideas, right? There's this company in Australia he just tweeted about 23 hours ago. You can see he's kind of poking at these projections from WeWork, asking if anybody's up on this company, Freedom Foods. So very, very active on Twitter and not shy about throwing ideas out there. So I've really been enjoying Jeremy Raper. The third account, Chris Meyer. Many of you will recognize that name, author of the book 100 Baggers, which I reference often on this channel. And I really enjoy his newsletter. Okay, you can sign up. It comes every week. It's free. It's a blog post just about kind of what he's thinking about or what he's researching kind of that week. Just some really thoughtful posts from Chris Meyer. He's talking here, I believe it's a Japanese company, saying, okay, it's probably pretty good, 40% return on equity target. He asked a question just 11 hours ago, who is the best corporate capital allocator in Japan? That's my kind of question, having recently started investing in Japan. So just some high quality tweets from Chris Meyer. Check him out. Number 4 on the list, Morgan Housel. Okay. Now, I just read Morgan Housel's book. It's a pinned tweet here called The Psychology of Money. Fantastic book. Highly recommended for all investors. I mean, it reminds me of what Warren Buffett said. You know, if he had to teach investing, he would really just teach 2 courses, how to value businesses and how to think about market psychology. And this book does a really solid job of covering that second one, the psychology of the stock market and money beyond that. So definitely recommend his book. And you can just tell through his tweets as well. He's just very thoughtful, a very thoughtful human, and full of wisdom. So check out Morgan Housel and his book as well if you haven't gotten to that yet. Number 5 on the list, Andrew Rosenbloom. So Andrew Rosenbloom came to my attention after I started investing in Micron. Andrew Rosenbloom is the investment manager at Bonsai Partners. And you can go to Bonsai Partners website and you can look at their letters to investors. Every quarter they write a letter to investors, and it's open to the public. You can just go and read those letters. And in Q3 of 2020, in his letter to investors, he presented a kind of a write-up for Micron, his investment thesis for Micron. And it was the best investment thesis that I had seen for Micron. So that really gave me some respect for Andrew Rosenbloom. And then more recently, I've been digging a little bit into Redbubble, which is a marketplace, an online marketplace in Australia. In a Value Investors Club write-up, it was compared to Etsy 5 years ago. And Rosenbloom has just made a killing on Redbubble. I think it's more than 60% of his portfolio now. And I think starting positions, he likes to be at around 10%. So it's gone up a lot. I think 5 times in the last year and a half, Redbubble has gone up in price. So he's definitely on my radar in terms of investors to watch, to find new investment ideas. And he's also posted some thoughtful tweets. Today, March 10th, what was that? Almost 2 weeks ago, he posted about SPACs. He asked about inflation not too long ago. What are the best things you've read about inflation, the most thoughtful pieces about inflation and how that impacts, investments moving forward. So enjoying following Andrew Rosenbloom. Number 6 on the list, Ian Cassell. Okay, all great companies started as small companies. So Ian Cassell is the founder of Microcap Club. This is one of these subscription clubs where you can read investment ideas from other investors in the microcap space. I don't know how much it costs. I haven't really looked into it. I'm probably too much of a cheapskate to sign up for a service like that. But whenever I read a tweet from Ian Cassell, it's just clear that he's been in the game for a long time, and he's sharing pretty deep wisdom in terms of investing, particularly value investing, which, Charlie Munger and others would say all real investing, all sound investing is value investing. So I really like this. Interactive brokers, potential change from short-term to long-term loss on positions. So good. So check out Ian Cassell on Twitter as well. This next one, Sahil Bloom. So Sahil Bloom is one of my more recent additions on Twitter, but very popular account. And he seems to really have staked, his claim in Twitter on these threads, really thoughtful threads. And one I just retweeted today. Let's see if it's near the top of his list here. Yeah, this one. Let's click through to this one. To outperform, you need serious competitive advantages. Okay, it's a difficult thing to outperform in the stock market. But contrary, and he's not just talking about the stock market, it's kind of greater principles for success. But contrary to what you've been told, most of them don't require talent. that is contrary to a lot of what I've heard. 10 competitive advantages that you can start developing today. Intellectual curiosity, okay? It's really what Charlie Munger talks about, being a continuous learning machine. Critical to long-term success in investing specifically, but more broadly, I think, in life. Comfort with discomfort. I mean, a lot of these are just like, yeah, obviously, they make so much sense, but it's easy to kind of lose these core principles with all of the noise in our culture today. Simplify where others complicate. Love that one. I've been thinking about that one a lot in terms of investing, how to simplify my investment process. High tolerance for failure. Failure is something I've been trying to get more comfortable with. Because in a sense, if I'm not failing, I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not pushing myself far enough outside of my comfort zone. Low time preference. Life is a long game. This is all about playing the long game, okay? Being willing to delay gratification. Such important lessons. Anti-fragility, presence, relentless consistency. Just fantastic content there from Sahil Bloom. So check him out for more. You're probably not going to get investment ideas from him, but the principles, right? These wise principles. He's really crushing it with those. The next one, Michael J. Burry. Big Short. Everyone in investing these days is probably, we've been paying attention to Michael Burry. Now, I saw a recent video, I forget who it was from, that Michael Burry, the SEC kind of came to him, and they're kind of trying to keep him, kind of hush him a little bit, giving him some warnings about, what he's telling people publicly through his Twitter feed about inflation and other things. So, and it's interesting, whenever I go to Michael Burry's account, I don't know if he does this thing where his tweets have like 24 hours and then they disappear, or if he posts and then he deletes the tweet. But, you go through his feed and there's just 2 posts here, right? And they're about this restaurant that he's, basically pitching, saying, hey, we've really enjoyed this restaurant. Please, support them. And you can see 3 tweets. So it looks like he's deleting them. I don't know. Maybe there's a new function in Twitter where you can post disappearing tweets that only stay for a certain amount of time. But, really smart guy. Michael Burry, fantastic investor, and, worthwhile to follow. I don't know if we're going to see much from him, like I said, in the near future, but there's no harm in following him anyway. Number 9, the last one on the list, Andrew Walker. So Andrew Walker is an investor that I came across doing research on SPACs, and he was a guest on Tobias Carlyle's Acquirers Multiple podcast. I think that's right. Tobias Carlyle. Acquirers Multiple, talking about SPACs. He's got this, he's got a blog. He also, I think, recently started a podcast or something. I know on YouTube I've seen him post videos occasionally, kind of long form videos where he has a guest on and they kind of go through individual companies. I think Twitter has been in there. So it's like an hour-long kind of deep dive into individual companies. So really valuable for value investors to really get in the mind of a great value investor and break down how they're analyzing these different companies. So well worthwhile to check out Andrew Walker. A lot of his stuff is pretty amusing too, talking about ARK and Tesla. And just today, he's been all about how this SPAC, CCIV, that brought Lucid public, it turns out the only reason CCIV and Lucid came together was that Bloomberg wrongly reported that they were in merger talks. So, they saw the report and thought, yeah, that makes sense, let's do it. So they came together because there was an erroneous report about them merging. So that's pretty amusing, and basically turned $43 million into more than $2 billion because of this reporting mistake. So Andrew turns up a lot of those interesting nuggets in the markets, kind of a bonus for following Andrew. So anyway, guys, these are 9 investors that I'm really enjoying following on Twitter. Let me know who you are really enjoying following on Twitter. There's some great investors that I didn't mention here. Bill Ackman, Daniel Loeb. I mean, there's a bunch that I'm following. But these 9 I find are really putting out consistently valuable content. Whereas some of the other great investors aren't necessarily talking about their investment ideas, sometimes for obvious reasons. But a lot of these Twitter accounts are willing to share what they're looking at, what they're investing in. So that's, interesting for me as an investor. So anyway, guys, just wanted to share this top 9. Hit me up in the comments. Like I said, who are you following on Twitter, and who should we all be following on Twitter? So with that, I will leave you guys till the next video. Take care.